The 3 a.m. Tales. The knock at 2:13 a.m. I remember the first knock like it just happened last night. It was 2:13 a.m. Sharp. 3 soft taps against my front door, measured, polite. Whoever stood there didn't want to wake the neighborhood, only me. At first, I thought it was part of my dream. I'd been half asleep, drifting in and out when the sound pulled me back to reality. Then came the second round of knocks, a little louder this time. I froze. Who the hell knocks at 2 in the morning? It had been one of those quiet nights. Light rain tapping against the window, the hum of my refrigerator in the next room. I lived alone, and silence had become my version of peace. Earlier that evening, I'd fallen asleep watching an old true crime documentary, the kind that makes your hallway seem longer when the credits roll. The knocking came again, slower now. It wasn't frantic, it wasn't threatening, it was patient. I turned off the bedside lamp and listened. My heart raced, filling the room with the sound of its own panic. I crept toward the front hallway. My feet were silent on the wooden floor. The peephole on my door stared back at me like a single, unblinking eye. I hesitated, then I looked. Nothing. Just the wet porch, glistening under the yellow streetlight. I grabbed my phone and checked the time again. 2:13. Still. I opened my security app. The front camera feed showed the porch empty. No movement. No one there. I texted my friend, "You up?" Someone's knocking on my door. No reply. I turned to head back to bed, and then I heard it. A faint whisper. Right outside the door. A voice almost childlike.
"Can you let me in?"
Every muscle in my body locked up. It sounded like a young girl, but there were no kids on my street. The power flickered for half a second. The house went completely black. Then the lights blinked back on. That whisper turned into a long, soft giggle. Close. Too close. Right outside. I backed away, keeping my eyes on the peephole. Then, for just a moment, a shadow passed across it. Someone, or something, was standing there now. It leaned closer, and a distorted face filled the lens. Too pale, the eyes too wide, a grin stretched like torn paper. I stumbled back. Then came a single, thunderous bang on the door, so hard that the frame rattled. My phone slipped from my hand. Then, a deeper voice. Nothing like the child's.
"Let me."
And I ran for the kitchen, grabbed the biggest knife I could find. My breath came out in sharp, shaking bursts. The knocking stopped. Silence. I crept back toward the front hall, knife trembling in my hand. Then I saw it. The front door was now slightly open. I know I locked it. I swear I did. I stood still, my mind racing. Slowly I pushed the door shut, and as I did, something cold brushed against my wrist. I froze, looked down. Nothing there. I slammed the door, locked it, and turned every light on in the house. By 3 a.m., 2 officers stood on my porch. They checked the perimeter. Nothing. But one of them, Officer Harris, came back holding something small. A photograph. He said, "Is this you?" It was a picture of me, standing at my front door, from the outside. The timestamp at the bottom read 2:13 a.m., the same time I'd heard the first knock. The officer looked at me, frowning.
"Where did you get cameras this old?"
I didn't answer, because when I looked closer, The image wasn't from tonight, it was from last year. The same night my security footage glitched. The same night I thought I was alone. And then, faintly, from the back of the house,
Can you let me in?
Story 2. Voices in the Static. It started with a voice coming from my television, even though it was off. At first, I thought it was just interference, maybe from the neighbor's Wi-Fi or some random broadcast glitch. But when it said my name, I knew it wasn't that. It whispered,
I can see you.
and that was the night my TV started talking back. I'd been pulling double shifts all week, half dead from exhaustion. My apartment was quiet, too quiet, the kind of silence that buzzes in your ears. When I got home that night, I tossed my bag on the couch, turned on the TV just for background noise, and crashed into the cushions. Around midnight, I woke up to a screen full of static. Just white noise, flickering, alive, like snowstorm pixels dancing in the dark. The remote lay on the table, untouched, and underneath the static, I heard voices, faint, whispering, layered on top of each other. Then one voice cut through the others, clear, direct, and wrong. It said my name, not in a question, not as an echo, but like someone standing right behind me.
Jacob.
I turned off the TV. The whispers stopped. For a moment, I went to the kitchen, grabbed a glass of water, and tried to shake it off. But as I turned around, the TV flickered back on. The screen glowed white, the sound of static filling every corner of the room. The voice came again, softer, closer.
Don't turn around.
I froze. In the reflection on the TV glass, I could see my living room behind me, empty, except for a faint, tall shadow standing near the door. I spun around. Nothing there. When I looked back at the TV, the shadow was gone. My phone buzzed suddenly. An unknown number. I answered, whispering, "Hello?" Silence. Then a distorted version of my own voice replied, "You shouldn't have turned around." The power cut out. Everything went black, except for the faint glow of the static TV. It shouldn't have been on, but it was. The static shimmered and warped, and from inside the screen, a shape began to form. At first it looked like interference, a trick of light, but it moved. The outline of a person pressed against the glass, their hand dragging across the inside of the screen. And then, it stepped forward. The screen rippled like water, and something crawled out. I stumbled backward, knocking over a lamp, the knife block, anything in my way. The figure was tall, pale, faceless, its body crackling with static lines. It moved like it was glitching through the air. I ran into the bedroom, slammed the door, and pushed my dresser against it. The static hum filled the air from behind the wall. It was inside the apartment. I could hear its voice, now calm, now human.
You brought me through.
I woke up in the corner of my room. Sunlight streamed through the blinds. Everything looked normal. The TV was unplugged. My phone, dead. For a moment, I convinced myself it was just exhaustion, a hallucination. Then I saw it. My phone charging light blinked and a notification popped up. One new voice recording. 12:47 a.m., the time it all began. I pressed play. Static filled the speaker. Then my own voice. scared, whispering, "Who's there?" And then a second voice, deep, calm, layered beneath mine.
I told you not to turn around.
The file ended with a long hiss. Then, the TV, still unplugged, flickered on. Static again. And through the noise, one last whisper.
See you tonight.
Story 3. The Voice on the Baby Monitor. It was supposed to be a quiet night. My husband was out of town for work, and I was home alone with our baby Ella. I remember thinking how peaceful everything felt, until I heard someone speaking through the baby monitor. Ella had finally fallen asleep after a long day. The soft glow from the monitor sat on the coffee table, showing her tiny chest rising and falling. I was exhausted, half asleep on the couch, watching some random Netflix show. Around 10:30, I muted the TV to check on her. The monitor was still, the green light pulsing softly. Nothing unusual, just the usual creaks of an old house. That's when I heard it, faint at first, like a whisper. A man's voice. I leaned forward, staring at the monitor. At first I thought maybe it picked up a neighbor's signal. That sometimes happened. But the voice grew clearer. "Shh. It's okay, baby. Go back to sleep." My heart froze. I dropped my phone, ran upstairs, and swung open Ella's door. But the room was empty, except for her, sleeping soundly in her crib. No one else was there. I checked every room. The kitchen, the living room, even the backyard. Locked. Secure. I told myself it must have been interference. Maybe someone nearby had a baby monitor on the same channel. But then it spoke again, louder this time. "Don't cry, Ella. Mommy's not coming." I stood frozen halfway up the stairs, clutching the banister, staring at the monitor's glowing screen. I could hear faint footsteps from the monitor, but not baby-sized ones. Heavy. Slow. I crept toward Ella's room again, every floorboard betraying me with a groan. My breath caught when I noticed something new. The closet door was open. I swear I had closed it earlier. I turned on the light, grabbed the nearest thing I could, a curtain rod, and yanked the door open. Nothing. Just hanging clothes and stuffed animals. Suddenly the monitor crackled again, and a deep voice said my name. "Emily, you can't keep me out forever." I nearly dropped the device. I unplugged the monitor and threw it across the room. Ella started screaming. I grabbed her and ran to the living room, dialing 911 with trembling hands. The dispatcher picked up, but before I could speak, the monitor, still unplugged, spoke again from the floor. "He's already inside." I turned toward the hallway. There was a figure standing in the dark, not moving, just standing. My mind screamed to run, but my legs felt like stone. "Ella?" I whispered. "Don't look." The shadow tilted its head, and then it vanished. Like smoke sucked into the dark. The police searched the entire house. No signs of forced entry. Nothing on the cameras. They said it must have been interference, maybe a crossed signal, or an old toy picking up noise. But that didn't explain what happened next. Later that morning, I checked the nursery cam footage. The monitor wasn't just broadcasting sound. It had recorded something. For 3 minutes while Ella slept, a man stood over her crib, face obscured by static, whispering softly, "Soon." And behind him, the reflection in the window, was me. But I was asleep on the couch the entire time. Every story hides a shadow. Dive into the unknown with The 3 AM Tales, where true horror, twisted fates, and chilling mysteries are brought to life. Each episode whispers what you were never meant to hear. New stories every week. Turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and listen, if you dare.